So you've probably heard The Wearing of the Green at some point, that haunting old song about rebellion, sorrow and Irish pride. But have you ever really listened to the words? Who were the people behind it? What was happening in Ireland that made something as simple as a shamrock so dangerous? In this video, we're diving into the story behind the song, uncovering what those lyrics meant, who wrote them, and how they captured one of the most darkest and defiant moments in Irish history. By the end, you'll never hear The Wearing of the Green the same way again. Just on a quick side note before we dive in, if you'd like to support the channel a little bit more than just subscribing, and also show your love for Irish music at the same time, check out the shop. We've got a whole range of Irish music inspired designs from hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, hats, stickers and more, all created by myself and me dad. And here's the fun bit as well. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll put a 10% discount on everything in the shop for a full month. And of course, as well as that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon as well to stay up to date with all the new videos. Now, without further ado, let's explore the story behind The Wearing of the Green. Welcome to Ireland, 1798, a land poised on the knife edge of revolution, where the simplest gesture, the mere flash of a colour, could mean a death sentence. This is the world that gave birth to The Wearing of the Green, a song that is less a melody and more a lament, a whispered oath, and an eternal challenge to a crown that ruled by fear. To understand this ballad, we must first meet the rebels who made the green the colour of treason. The Society of United Irishmen. Formed in 1791 in the wake of the French Revolution, these were men, primarily middle-class Presbyterians, who sought to overthrow the British Crown and the ruling Anglican ascendancy. Their goal was radical, a republic secured by a cordial union among all Irish people, Catholic, Protestant and dissenter alike. They dreamed of liberty and representative government, but as all hopes for constitutional reform faded, the society transformed itself into a clandestine, military-based revolutionary force. They adopted a uniform, unofficial though it was, the colour of green. This spirit culminated in the Irish Rebellion of 1798. Though initially it was uncoordinated and ultimately crushed by Crown forces, the sheer scale of the uprising horrified the British establishment. The response was brutal, defined by public executions, floggings and the violent suppression of all symbolic dissent. The opening lines of the ballad set this atmosphere of lethal persecution. "Oh Paddy dear, and did you hear the news that's going round? The shamrock is by law forbid to grow on Irish ground. St. Patrick's Day no more we'll keep. His colours can't be seen, for they're hanging men and women for the wearing of the green." This simple verse reveals the terror of the time. To wear the green, the colour adopted by the Society of United Irishmen, was an immediate declaration of rebellion, punishable by the gallows. In some versions, the green refers literally to the shamrock itself. The law criminalised the very display of Irish identity, turning a traditional emblem into a marker of insurrection. The ballad itself is a direct reference to the hanging men and women, a chilling reality following the mass arrests and executions of the defeated rebels. This line is hammered home repeatedly, reminding the listener that pride in their nation exacted the highest price. The song's narrative device is the encounter between the exiled narrator and a key figure of the rebellion. In the best known version, it is the renowned rebel Napper Tandy. "I met with Napper Tandy and he took me by the hand. He said, 'How's dear old Ireland and how does she stand? She's the most distressful country that you ever have seen, for they're hanging men and women for the wearing of the green.'" James Napper Tandy was a notable member of the Society of United Irishmen, active in Dublin, who notably joined the defenders in the city to promote the union of anti-establishment forces. He was an Irish rebel leader who was forced into exile in France. The dialogue in the song, where Tandy asks for the news and receives the tragic report, captures the anguish of those who plotted liberation from afar, knowing the terrible risks borne by those who stayed behind. An earlier 1802 version, published shortly after the repression of 1798, featured another great Republican martyr, Robert Emmet. Emmet, though not a commander in 1798, was a leading figure in the United Irish Executive who sought to resurrect the revolutionary movement after the defeat. Like Tandy, he sought French assistance in Paris. Emmet ultimately led the disastrous 1803 rising, proving that the Republican spirit persisted even after the Act of Union formally abolished the Irish Parliament in 1801. However, the enduring version of the song we know today, the version most often sung, was shaped much later by the Irish actor and playwright. And apologies in advance if you're fluent in French, I'm going to absolutely butcher this. Dion Bosco. I think that's close enough. You can correct me down in the comments if I'm miles off, please let me know. But I'm going to refer to him as Dion from now on. He adapted the lyrics for his 1864 play, Ara na Pog, or The Wicklow Wedding, which was set during the 1798 rebellion. Dion himself would later move to New York. His version perfectly captured the complex emotions of the Irish diaspora. The central verses of Dion's version encapsulate the tone of resistance and profound grief. The narrator confronts the reality of British rule, symbolised by the cruel red colour of England, contrasting it with the bloodshed by Irish patriots. Then, since the colour we must wear is England's cruel red, sure, Ireland's son will ne'er forget the blood that they have shed. You may take this shamrock from your hat and cast it on the sod, but 'twill take root and flourish there, though underfoot 'tis trod. This is the sound of unyielding hope and defiance, the physical act of destroying the symbol. Casting the shamrock down cannot destroy the underlying sentiment. The ideal of Irish liberty, the song promises, is deeply rooted and destined to survive persecution. The grief is intensely personal, reflecting the separation and sacrifice demanded by the cause. The narrator laments that he cannot die for his country like his father, but this sorrow is tempered by the knowledge that he did not become a traitor. This refusal to betray the wearing of the green serves as a moral bedrock for the Irish Republican tradition. The final verse shifts from the resistance at home to the necessity of exile. But if at last our colour should be torn from Ireland's heart, her sons with shame and sorrow from the dear old isle will part. O Ireland, must we leave you, driven by a tyrant's hand, and seek a mother's blessing from a strange and distant land. This reflects the agonising decision faced by countless Irish families in the decades following 1798 and the Act of Union, when British control was absolute. Emigration became a form of enforced resignation. The narrator seeks a strange and distant land where the cruel cross of England shall never more be seen. This new world, often interpreted as America, where Dion himself eventually resided, offered the hope of freedom and political equality denied at home. But even in this far-off land, the commitment remains absolute. They will live and die still wearing Ireland's green. Exile does not erase identity, rather it solidifies it, carrying the fight and the memory across the ocean. The wearing of the green transcends its origins as a street ballad. The song's enduring spirit is confirmed by its shared air with other famous rebel tunes concerning the same era, such as The Rising of the Moon. From its dark, defiant roots is the repression of the 1790s. The ballad became a permanent fixture in Irish cultural history, recorded by icons like John McCormick, Judy Garland in 1940, and the Wolfe Tones. It has been referenced in literature, cementing its status not just as a song, but as a cultural touchstone, representing the perennial struggle against oppression. So the next time you hear its defiant melody, remember the world behind those words, the brave, desperate attempts of the United Irishmen to forge a nation free from tyranny. Remember that every chorus recalls those who paid the ultimate price, reminding us that for Ireland, the colour green was never merely a fashion choice. It was a declaration of war, fiercely worn then and proudly remembered now. For the wearing of the green, for the wearing of the green. They're hanging men and women for the wearing of the green. So that's the story behind The Wearing of the Green. A song that carries more than melody. It carries memory. It's about defiance, heartbreak, and the unbreakable spirit of Ireland itself. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And if you'd like to support what I do here, check out the shop as well. We've got loads of Irish music themed designs and gifts. Have a browse as well. Look, you might find something that sings to yourself. Also, as well as that, I'm always open to ideas too. So if there's a song, a story, or a musician you'd like me to cover next, leave a comment below. And as always, before I go, I want to give a special thanks to the channel members. Your names are up on screen there right now. You're the backbone of this whole thing, the ones who make it possible for me to keep telling these stories and keeping Irish music alive online. From the bottom of my heart, thanks a million for all your support. If you'd like to join them and help the channel grow, hit the join button or check the links in the description for more information. That's all from me. Thanks a million for watching, and as always, slán go fóill, cheers.